Jordan, I have a very important question for you.
Lay it on me.
Do you ever look at your husband's hands and you're like, those are some good hands? Because I'm gonna let you answer the question. What's the answer?
I don't think so. I don't think I've ever looked at hands and been like, those are some nice hands.
The reason I'm asking is because I've read multiple books recently where they go into detail on the description of how nice the hands are and like how the female main characters are obsessed or they're attracted to these man's hands. And I'm like, I don't know that I've ever sat there and like judged based off of hands, or not even judged, but like look at hands and been like, those are some nice hands. But then I did look at my husband's hands and I was like, oh, okay. Like,
were you like spread them out? Hands on the counter.
This is so inappropriate, but like there's like a vein on top of it too.
Please don't get me personal with your husband's hands. I don't need this.
I won't. But I just wanted to kick off this episode by like, wow, we've read a lot of books recently where they go into the detail about the hands. And there's one book in particular, it's by Elle Kennedy. And she actually, like, the hands are a turn off. Like the female main character is talking about how the hands are clammy. Like it's not good. It's like the hands are a getaway measure, not like a come hither thing. So
okay, I've got two things to say to this. Okay. One is when you say that, I don't know why, but I hear it in Donkey from Shrek's voice. It's like, those are some nice hands.
That's amazing.
And number two, I think I subscribe more to the forearm porn than I do to the hand. Because like, okay, because I know what you're talking about. Like I can picture tons of authors who do this. And actually it's a big thing, I think, in like anime manga is like the hand drawing. It's a big thing that they talk about. So I understand, but like if you describe to me a veiny hand, I'm not, I think of like an old person. You know what I mean? Like varicose vein hands.
Okay. Oh no.
But when you describe like a veiny forearm, when they like do the sleeve roll, you're like, okay. Yeah. So I think it's just a matter of preference. Which arm piece you're really drawn to.
Which is your preferred piece of the arm? Well, there's hand models. Maybe there's forearm models out there in the world, but
it makes me think of, you remember when Joey from Friends goes to work in Vegas and he meets his hand twin and he wants to become hand models with it?
Yes. See, it's a thing. After reading that, I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess I see it.
You know what now I'm thinking is like, you know how there's like OnlyFans for girls' feet? Do you think there's OnlyFans for man hands? Where he's just like, wah.
There could be. And that rhymes. So there totally could be. If not, untapped market.
Ladies, tell your husbands.
Go out there and yeah. Show us the hands. Nails have to be clean. If we're going to be, nails have to be clean.
I mean, if you're going into hand porn, it has to be pristine. Like nobody wants crusty nail porn.
You know what? Actually, we don't judge if there is someone out there who's like the dirtier the better in more ways than one. You know, no judgment.
I guess that could be a thing. That's a good point.
It could be a thing. It could be
Teach their own. You ready to get into it?
Mm-hmm. Yes. After that, yes.
You ready to dig your hands into this episode?
Yes. Okay. It's going to be hands-on.
Yes, exactly. Okay. I'm Jordan.
I'm Sheridan.
And together we are Sippin on Spice.
Yes. And once a week, Jordan and I get together and we talk about a book that we've recently read, or we talk about different bookish topics, kind of like we kicked off this episode. So we've got some really great things to discuss today. I think something that we can say that we're doing today that's really cool and new for the first time is we put out on our socials asking for our followers to share with us the most unhinged smut piece that they've read in a book, and we're going to be reading it out today in this episode.
Yes, we're going to do this a couple times, so keep them coming. I picked one that I was like, hold the phone, I need to read this. And I cannot wait to read it to you. It's going to be It's gonna be spicy. But yes, if you want to find us, we are at Sippin on Spice on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. We post all of our stuff there, where we ask listeners questions, so you can add your notes there or tell us your most unhinged scenes, because we're going to be adding some of them into segments. And just make sure to like, subscribe, give us 5 stars, because we haven't let you down yet.
No, we haven't. And if you feel like giving another star, it's okay. It's fine.
So one of the first things I want to talk to you about is we just went to the Bookish shop opening. They're known for the Bookish box. It was the kickoff for it. They do like custom sprayed edge special edition boxes, and they are local to Arizona. So we were actually lucky enough to go to their store opening, snag a couple books, and it was really fun. They have like a whole coffee shop, and it's, I think, at least from my perspective, the first romance book store that we have.
Yeah, I think you're right. I was trying to think of another location that's just romance books, that also have like all those beautiful special editions, and I can't think of one. So it's really cool that they have a local shop now in Arizona, and it was so fun to go check out. I have on display one of the books I got, The Dead Guy Next Door by Lucy Score, and it's gorgeous. Gorgeous edition too. I love it. Yes.
Yeah. Their editions are awesome. But it was really fun. Like I said, really fun, really cool vibe. I just enjoyed going out and checking it out and seeing all like romance specific book stuff. I think we get to see a lot of that on social media, and it was our first chance to see something like that. Okay. So one of the first topics I want to talk to you about is something that has been grinding my gears lately.
Okay.
And it is friends to lovers. Here's what's been happening with me lately is I keep seeing like snips or recommendations from people on books that are friends to lovers. And I'm like, yes, I love this snip. I love this concept.
Yeah.
But what I'm finding is right away, they're like really close friends where both of them have an obvious attraction for each other. And for some reason, that setup I can just not get into. And I wonder if you feel the same, because it's just like, there's no tension point at the beginning. I'm just waiting for you two to pine and stare at each other until you finally decide to date. Like, that's not, I'm bored.
Yeah. Oh, well, we need that angst. We need that tension, like we've talked about. That's so interesting to me, because I know in the past you've said it's like a really big hit or miss on this trope. You either really like it or you don't. And I do think it's really important how it plays out. So for me, but I think what I love is actually different. If they are good friends and they're in good friend land and there's no issue, but they both have feelings, and then the book is the journey of them falling in love, I'm not about it.
Yeah.
I'm not about it. And I don't know why.
That's what I'm seeing lately. And it's like, I'll like what at least their blurb is. I'll like the concept of it, but it's like the way it's written out, I feel it needs to have like somebody shrouded in mystery at least. And so what I'm finding is like when they're both like, I've read a couple that other people are rating like 4.5 to 5 stars. And I'm like, I'm so bored.
You're like, well, we are mood readers. Maybe we're like, take that next step, move forward. Now, if they were friends, they have a miscommunication or something happened and they no longer were friends, and like that pulled them apart, and then it's like a second chance romance. Eat that up. Love that.
Or if one of them, you don't really know how they feel, like In a Rush is a great example. In a Rush by Kate Canterbury. They've been friends. They're still on good terms. The entire story still feels good and exciting. And like, there's more to it than just like them secretly pining and hanging out. Like, what?
Yeah.
And everyone telling them to date. I'm tired.
Just to do it already. Well, there's tension then, because like In a Rush, like there's tension for the feelings to be discovered. It's a will they, won't they?
Yeah. If you don't have that, you have a novella at best. I opened one and it was like 400 pages. And by page 50, I was like, babe, this story's over.
So funny. I'm trying to think. That's not a trope that typically calls to me, but I would feel the same.
It was a different like setup, like a marriage pact setup.
Okay.
So I got excited because I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. And then they're just like friends and they're happy. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. Where's the tension?
Yeah. I wanted him to show up and be like, you're going to marry me. And she's going to be like, what? And you don't know what's going to happen. Like, that's what I wanted.
Yeah. And that's not what we got.
But then going into our discussion from our last bookish episode, we were talking about how like side characters can sidetrack you.
Yes, distract you.
I got sidetracked by yet another. Okay, this is going to be an up and coming trope for me. I can feel it in my bones.
Oh, what is
another divorced couple pining for each other?
Oh, like they've divorced and then they still pine?
Yes.
Ooh.
And so I was like, the whole time I was like, I'm about to jump to their book because what's happening over there? I may not like you guys, but what's up over there? Because it's not like the writing was bad. It just wasn't like tension. You know what I mean? You and I were just talking about a different series that we started, which is by Tara DeWitt, and it was Savor It.
So good.
I had never heard of this author before. Cannot recommend enough. You went further down the path, right? Because Savor It is the first in this series. Book 2 is coming out in, when is it? May, June?
I think it's May.
Yes. Cannot wait for this. They're teeing up a divorced couple kind of reuniting. And let me tell you, I am jonesing for it. But you went down and read a little bit more of Tara.
Yes. Okay. So I read the co-op by Tara DeWitt. I was obsessed. I actually have multiple things to say about this book. I was hooked right away. It is some of my favorite tropes. So it's second chance romance. They knew each other when they were younger. They had feelings for each other back then. Something happened that pulled them apart, and then it's them reconnecting. But they have all these misunderstanding and angsty feelings. So then they have to work that out to be together. Oh, it is chef's kiss. It is
I like it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have something to say here, okay? So it just depends. The male main character is fantastic. Like, he never waffles. You know the entire time he's so invested. But what I think this author does so well, which I also thought she did really well in Savor It, is she shows really relatable, complex humans. Because we're all complex. We're all little complex water cucumbers.
Not me, I'm perfect, but I get what you mean.
Right. Outside of you, everyone else is complex.
Real simple.
They have all this trauma, so they're trying to like work it out, and it's just, I don't want to spoil it, but it's so interesting because their inner feelings about themselves just play out in a really realistic and relatable way, but the way they come together and fall in love is fantastic. Now, it did bring something up for me, the female main character, and this is why I said earlier when you said, will I like it? I hope so. I would recommend it to you. The author is fantastic. The female main character, for a lack of a better word, starts off very unlikable, but it's on purpose.
Okay.
And her journey, she's healing some parts. I don't want to spoil because I'm a famous spoiler. She's healing some parts of herself. And through that, I think she does become more likable. Now, some people may read this book and be like, what? She's not unlikable, but I think from my perspective, some of the things she did was unlikable, and that was starting to grate on me as I was reading it. But then I had an epiphany that she was so like myself when I was younger. So this is actually something I wanted to ask you. She drove me crazy because I wanted to be like, please stop doing that. But it was because I did that for a really long time. Like, I would do, this was so relatable to me. So I think when I read it, I was like, I see why you're doing what you're doing, but like, I hate it because I need you to grow past this. So in her character development, of course, her journey is to move past this. But I wanted to ask you, do you think when you read characters that can be really relatable to maybe the not so great parts of ourselves, do you dislike it, or do you like it and have forgiveness for them because you're like, okay, I get it, I relate?
The only book I can think of top of mind is like Nesta. And I think I tend to be, also Tori from Zodiac Academy. I do think that in some ways I can actually be more forgiving of the FMCs. It just depends. Like, I think it depends on how they write them and if I feel like they gave them the arc that I want them to have. Because I do think that, like, I have seen FMCs with flawed character traits that I'm like, okay. Yeah, maybe.
No, I totally can see that. Yeah, Nesta and her journey is like a flawless journey.
Yeah.
I want you to read the co-op. I absolutely loved it. Okay. And then I wanted to discuss because it was like a mirror of some of the things that young Sheridan, high school Sheridan that you knew would do. And so I would be interested to see how you feel about that.
I'm going to read it now. Okay. Yeah. And then, of course, Savor It. So we both read this.
Yes.
Holy cow, 5 stars. I read this so quickly. It was a beautiful, like, coming into your own kind of story. The FMC, I think it's something that you and I have talked about before, which is showing female character strength without it being like physical strength and being emotional strength. And this FMC was probably my favorite display of emotional strength, and watching her and like feminine strength, I guess. I loved this book.
I agree. I love this book as well. I loved how a way that I thought she displayed that feminine strength that you're talking about really well is that she helped other people around her feel good about themselves by making them feel like they had purpose.
Yes.
Or I thought that was just like a way to bring other people up, and I loved it.
And what I think made her strong in a way that I liked is she did it without downplaying herself. And I think that that's typically what you see in feminine strength arcs that I tend to struggle with, which is in order to perpetuate other people, they're bringing themselves down. And that's usually like something that they work on. Now, I think that there are bits to that piece that she talks about, but from where she's at in this book and what she's doing, I loved how she went about it and how she still championed for herself and did the right things for herself. Because it just made her so likable and like a realistic view of like, wow, that's somebody I would like to be like, some situation I would like to perpetuate.
I completely agree. And I think once you finish this book, to your points, you feel uplifted because it is like, oh, I would like to be like that. I would like to demonstrate those traits. So it's so interesting that this author brought that out in both of us.
Yeah. And I think there were so many like quotes and so many things that like I ended up highlighting in my Kindle where I was like, oh my God, I love this. I love this. I love this. Like it was just such a well-written, beautiful book that you, by the end of it, are like, wow, I'm going to have a great day today.
I feel energized to tackle life. Like I feel like good. You know who when I was thinking of it, because you had pointed that out and then I was reading the ending, the parts of it, not directly, like I'm not going to say, oh, this character is like this other character. But in my mind, I started to kind of think of, because I think sometimes you're a little bit like this character. So I like saw some similarities. The mom from Bob's Burgers. I'm not saying to those who are listening.
Did you just call me Linda?
In the best way. In the best way, you have some similarities. And this character did too. When you called out that like what you're saying is your ideal of feminine strength and bringing other people up and like, but not to the point of bringing herself down. That is Linda from Bob's Burgers.
It's funny that you say that because once I took like one of those BuzzFeed tests and I got Linda.
See? That's fantastic.
You know what? I'm fine with that. I find her hilarious too, so that's fine.
She's amazing, and she's the glue of her social networks and her family.
She is. Okay, the other book that I have to tell you about. Okay, 5-star, dude. I am on a pretty good book kick, with the exception of my friends to lovers bit there. I read Wildest Dreams by L.J. Shen. It came out April 8th.
Ooh.
Holy cow, did I love this. I could not put it down. I read it in 24 hours. It is the follow-up to Truly Madly Deeply. It was so good. It's like a found family. It follows Dylan, which is Rose's sister from book 1. And she has a child who's now, I think, 4 in this book.
So there's a time jump for sure.
There's a time jump. And it's her and her child pretty much moving to New York, running into her brother's best friend, who's like the ultimate playboy, like pretty much was a gigolo, for lack of a better word. Yeah. And them coming together as like it's enemies to lovers. He also hates kids. Like it is so funny and so well written. I ate it up. I've been thinking about it nonstop, to be honest.
No, I am so excited to read it. Like I was excited to read it because we love LJ Shen. But since you've told me like your review and your thoughts, I am so sold.
You're gonna love it.
I am so excited to read it. Okay. I cannot wait.
I will say that there are some suspenseful moments in this, which I really enjoyed. Like not a ton of it, but a lot of plot points that were more like suspense based, where I was like, uh-oh. And I loved that in it, because the way she built the tension in this was really just all encompassing. Like I said, I could not put it down. But it also kind of reminded me of, not in a total, but like Ryland's character with the daughter reminded me a bit of The Takeover by T.L. Swan, which is Tristan's story of him kind of coming into a mother with children and the way that he didn't like kids at first. I love that style of like, because I feel like it's not common in the single parent romances where you get like somebody coming in who isn't just like instantly clicking with them.
I would agree, yeah.
You know what I mean? So I love when there's a different pathway to that, but it feels organic, it feels funny, it feels like a different kind of found family. And so I loved it.
Oh, okay. I'm so excited. I'm really excited to read it. I loved seeing Ryland in Truly Madly Deeply. So yeah. I am so excited for this. I low-key struggled to forgive Dylan in Truly Madly Deeply. So I am interested to see what I think of her character. But I think I forgave her at the end of Truly Madly Deeply.
Yeah.
But that was kind of like
I think once I understood her personality, because the first time I read it, I didn't like her. The second time I read it, I was like, oh, okay, I just get your personality is a little different. I think you have to accept her. She's just kind of like that snarky comedic, honestly, also somebody that I kind of relate to.
So it's interesting you said you didn't like her read one, then, because would that be a mirror of oneself?
Well, I think I didn't.
No?
I think read one, I was looking at it from the friend's point of view. The second time I read it, I kind of got it, and I got the sense of humor, because even Cal's sense of humor is a little different. So I think once you get the idea of what the kind of humor is, it felt less mean and more funny, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I forgave her towards the end of the book, but you just said that exactly how I feel. Like, I was looking at it from Cal's perspective, but yeah, no, I forgave her by the end of the book. So I'm really excited to see her love story with Ryland and read more.
It's so good. Yes. I can't wait for you to read it.
It's next for me.
Next is Fearless.
You're right. Okay, so Fearless and then Wildest Dreams.
So
Fearless has got to happen.
Tell people what we've decided to do with Fearless, because we've talked about this at length, and I cannot bring myself to read Fearless, but I do want to know how it ends. I've seen a lot of like little note spoilers. I need to know how it ends. I cannot bring myself to read it.
Yes, since Jordan is the series' biggest fan. So I'm going to read Fearless for Jordan, and then I'm going to basically spoil to its biggest hater everything that happens.
Yeah, so depending on what ship you're in, if you hate it or love it, in the next coming weeks, we're going to be recording that. It'll be its own standalone video, so nobody gets into anything they don't want to know. But if you're like me and you need to know, but you can't read it, Sheridan's going to spoil it for us. And I cannot wait, because I need answers. But I don't want to see them myself.
I am so excited to read this and spoil this for you. I also love spoiling, like Loki. Like, I'm such a bad spoiler, so I cannot wait to do this. Also, I've seen some quotes, and I think I'm going to make a case for Kai Azair. I've seen some quotes, and I'm going to make a case for you and spoil it. It's going to be great.
I'm honestly really excited. Like I said, I've seen a lot of little comments, and I'm like, this makes me almost want to read it. I won't. But I cannot wait for you to tell me how it pans out.
Okay, I'm so excited.
Okay, so while we're kind of on this topic, I think it would be fun to talk about just like controversial ways that we would change books. So like if Jordan had authored it, or if Sheridan had authored it, what would you have done differently to make it like a 5-star book?
Okay, I'm ready.
I personally want to talk about Powerless and Reckless.
Oh no, I know exactly what you're gonna say. Okay. You're gonna all the Kai ladies' hearts, but yes, how would you change it?
I'm fine with that. Yeah, so this is slightly spoiler based. So if you haven't read Powerless or Reckless, skip past this part, because I'm gonna spoil some for you. Okay, so first and foremost, I think that in Powerless, I would have changed a couple things. One, I would have made Kit a betrayer. Like I would have had him and his dad in cahoots, and everything he was doing with Peyton be like sketchy. If I wanted her to end up with Kai. Okay.
Got it. Okay. That's
if I wanted her to end up with Kai. Okay. I would have made the trial bit where each of them got their own, at the very end, each of them got their own criminal, and Kai and Peyton ended up in the same area, and that's how they outed Peyton as the ordinary.
That would have been better. That would yes. That would have been better.
I would have had Kai verbally say that he is fine with ordinaries and that she was right and make some actions. Okay.
I could see how that could provide value into the account. Definitely, I think a big plot hole, for lack of a better word, or like an issue with Powerless and Reckless is Kai never says that he supports her and she's right. Like that she is right, because it feels like he's consistently waffling and playing all the sides. So I agree with you. That would have been better.
Option 2 is that you keep the books the exact same and she ends up with Kit.
No, get that option out of here. No.
Listen. No. The character development was only in Reckless for Kit. He's the only one with character development. He's the only one who appears to want to change the nation. Okay. It would have been Kit and Peyton's love story at the end. There you go.
But Kai loves her more than the nation. Kai loves her more than the nation.
Tell me when. Give me one tangible time he loved her more than the nation. Anytime.
He's a beast that doesn't get the beauty.
Yeah, why? Because he doesn't do okay?
Well, let's wait till Fearless. Till Fearless.
I'm just saying up until this point, okay? Because again, I refuse to read Fearless. Okay. What about you? What book would you change? What would you do?
You had some solid points there on rewriting that book. Okay, I might have some controversy. I might get some hate mail. I have 2 big ones.
I mean, I'm definitely going to get hate mail.
Side note, if you ever go on Sippin on Spice Book Podcast YouTube and you watch Jordan's opinion on just asking a question on Powerless, who should get the girl, basically, which brother should get the girl, read the comments. Some of them are quite funny.
No, somebody told me to sleep with one eye open, and I laughed so hard. I was like, are you mad?
Which is so aggressive. So that's just like real quick. That's such an aggressive comment, but I digress.
Well, maybe they'll take after Kai and not actually come and actually do anything and just talk about it.
That was a good burn. They need ice. That was a good burn. Okay, so there's 2 instances where I would change the book. One serious, one funny. I would, in the ACOTAR series, just completely remove all the attention and the exploration of the romance between Azriel and Elain. And I would actually make Elain give Lucien a genuine chance. Now, obviously, no one should ever be put in a position where they're forced to do something or forced to be with someone. That's terrible. No, she should not be forced to be with Lucien because they're mates. But I would have much preferred if the story was just written where they had spoken and interacted more, Lucien and Elain, before they found out they were mates and they had a genuine relationship, other than this, like, now you're forced to be mates. It feels uncomfy, but you kind of have this, like, weird dalliance over here. Not weird dalliance. Obviously, I love Azriel, but like this dynamic over here with Azriel, but then also didn't like Reese being like, no, this is bad politically, basically. You can't, I don't know. All of it's messy and I don't like it. I just wish that story was rewritten where Elain had met Lucien in an organic way. They would have actually had some basis of a relationship. They weren't forced to be mates. And then with that, they actually kind of liked each other. I would have preferred that. I think they're so good for each other.
You know what else would have been a cool change there?
What?
Like remove like 50% of the watery bowels.
Yes.
No bowels were watery.
Farrah had IBS and she didn't know. She did not know.
Farrah needed to go on the FODMAP.
She did. Or she was under a lot of stress. Okay. Number 2. Number 2. I have forgiven this book. I like it. I've reread it and I enjoy it. I would take out the beginning of Wild Eyes with the bear photos. She doesn't need to take photos with bears.
I hope she takes more photos with bears.
That's dangerous.
I hope she has a wall of photos with bears. Okay.
That's dangerous. So I've reread the book and I really liked it. I love Wes. I love their love story. I would still change that beginning. I'd still change it.
I mean, I think the whole point is you're supposed to see she's naive and that's it. Like that's the whole point is you're supposed to get smacked in the face with how unrealistic her life is. And Wes is like, what the are you doing? Like, I think that's the point. You got to take it at what it is. So also, what a meet cute. You saved me from a bear.
I guess that's a valid point. That's a valid point. So do you agree with my Elain and Lucien? Because you obviously don't agree with my change.
No, I actually do, because I think even if she kept like the cauldron scene the same, I think if they had a different opportunity to chat, even if it wasn't like about them being mates and even just being friends, I would have liked to see them actually interact. It's just crazy to me that Elain just like refuses to speak to him.
Absolutely.
I just think it's a weird reaction.
It is a weird reaction. And then also I think it's interesting that the story is written to say where she doesn't fit in the night court. Like it's commented on, she fits in spring, but then there's I don't know. It's messy over there. And I just wish that she had more a genuine relationship with Lucien, because I do think Lucien deserves love. And I think Elain deserves love. And I think they have a lot in common if they'd had a conversation.
I don't care enough about Lucien, so that's the only part that I'm going to squad with.
I love him. Okay, I love him.
Good for you. I'm happy for you.
I love Azriel too. You know who? Okay, this is a spoiler. Oh, I love Azriel. This is a spoiler if you've not read Crescent City. If you've not read Crescent City, please skip ahead. I want Azriel with Bryce. I was down that conspiracy theory so far. I was disappointed.
Yeah. I actually would agree with changing Crescent City where Hunt is not the mate.
And she's with Azriel.
Yeah. When people love Hunt, I respect you. I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you're happy.
Yeah.
I don't see any draw to Hunt at all.
We do agree on that one. We do agree. Yeah, we're both not Hunt fans. Sorry to all the Crescent City girlies out there, but maybe you agree with us.
We just offended like a lot of people. We just spread that seed everywhere. We really did. You want to hate us today? Hang tight.
Basically. But love Crescent City, love Bryce. I just wanted her with Azriel.
Yeah, I get that. Okay, so we're going to go into our segment. It is called What in the Smut.
Yes.
And it is one of our followers let me rephrase that. On TikTok, we reached out and asked, hey, let us know the most unhinged, wild, spicy scene you've ever read. The one that drew me in that I am going to read today was by the person who submitted it is named Nothing. So thank you, Nothing. And this person said, in Cold Hearted King, Cole and Delia have some fun stuff with a wine bottle.
Oh, unsafe. Okay.
Are you ready for me to read it to you?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Okay. Oh God, I'm like nervous to read this out loud. I'm going to be talking real dirty to you right now.
Okay. All right. Well,
audiobook brought to you by Jordan.
Yeah. I'm ready.
Okay. So they're in the middle of a spicy scene. Cole is looking down at her, his eyes hot and hungry. Then he picks up an almost empty bottle of wine and tilts it so a small trickle streams over her.
Oh, okay. So she's getting wine poured on her a little bit, or down there
on her machine.
Yeah. That can't be good for okay. Anyways.
She almost shrieks but doesn't say anything. He starts licking it, and she says it feels good. Well. Oh. Then he tilts her hips up. And the wine, and then the bottle's cool glass brushes across her inner thigh as he pours another trickle over me. This time, with the way he's angled me, I feel it pull at my entrance. His mouth covers me as he drinks. The thought of what he's doing is such a turn on, with no direct stimulation on my... Okay, but it's not quite enough to push me over the edge.
Okay.
With one final, I'm skimming a little bit here. With one final flick of his tongue, he moves upwards. And then the smooth rim of the bottle presses against my entrance. I gasp, shooting almost upright. Cole, lie down, he growls. And I obey, collapsing against the bench. The tip of the bottle eases into me, and I don't know whether to be embarrassed or aroused. My body decides for me. My internal muscles clamp down around the neck. The cool hardness of the glass feels incredible inside me, especially when Cole doubles down. He thrusts the bottle, but not hard enough to be uncomfortable, just enough to give me some pressure and fiction. I imagine what we'd look like if anybody saw us. Me laid out naked on a countertop with my legs spread, a shirtless man with his head buried between his legs, effing me with his mouth and the neck of a wine bottle.
Okay.
Hang on.
Okay. It keeps going. Okay.
I'm going to skim a little bit more here. My channel clenches around the bottle. By the time it's over, I'm a sweaty, shuddering mess. Finally, Cole stands pulling the bottle from me. All I can do is lie bonelessly and stare up at him. He raises the bottle to his lips and tips it up, the strong column of his throat moving as he drinks the remaining wine inside. There was still wine in this bottle! And then he ends it with, "You taste divine."
Well, hey. Okay, I have some thoughts. That is wild. That's a good what in the smut. Is that safe? Is that safe? Glass could have been broken. Wine bottles are made out of glass. I don't know how safe that is. Now,
depends on how many Kegels you do. Hang on, let me see if I can get that answer for you. Let me see.
Yeah, is this red wine?
Yeah, let me tell you. Do you want to know if it's red wine? That's okay.
Basically, because that's a different mental image. The red wine's a different mental image.
Okay, hang on. They actually drink a lot of wine in this book, by the way. I Kindle searched it, and there's like at least 40 results for wine. So these people,
wow,
they're connoisseurs. Wine. So you can understand why he.
So it was a good wine.
Yeah, it has to be. I mean, they do enjoy their wine. Hang on.
Yeah. You know, outside of it being unsafe with the glass, and
the bottle costs $500.
Wow. So
hang on. $500 bottle of wine.
I'm imagining like a Bordeaux, like a very fancy French red wine.
Yeah, I think it has to be a red wine. Hang on, because they're drinking cheese or they're eating cheese.
They're drinking cheese.
There's crusty white bread. Hang on.
All the things.
It's a bottle of white wine.
What? I'm shocked. I'm shocked too.
If you're gonna me with wine, it better be red.
I want that on a sticker. But yes, no, I agree. Now I'm like,
that's a double
like a
sweet.
Chardonnay.
You need some tart, yeah.
Exactly.
Have they never heard the phrase "sweet and savory"?
Exactly. Now I'm more disturbed that it's white wine.
Yeah, honestly, a cab would have been nice.
Absolutely. Outside of the glass safety, I was like,
yeah,
if that's what you're into, that's what you're into.
Honestly, aren't there glass like I'm trying to say if I'm going to see dildo on our podcast. Aren't there glass toys that one could use? So I would think it's durable enough.
It's relatively safe.
It's creative. Safe. Again, they clearly enjoy wine. It's fancy wine. So, you know, kudos for all of that. They really transformed the charcuterie board experience. A
charcuterie board.
You know, my stepsisters call it that, and now it has a whole new meaning.
Now it has a whole new meaning. That is so funny. Oh my God.
But goddamn, I wanted a cab.
Me too. I'm more disturbed by the fact that this is white wine.
It is like, was it a Sauv Blanc?
Yeah, now I'm like, is it Chardonnay?
If it's Chardonnay, I'm gonna be mad. Exactly. The worst of the white wines.
The worst of the white wines. Sorry to all the Chardonnay lovers out there, but we're more disturbed by the fact that this could have been a Chardonnay. Because she was enjoying it. She was into it. Like,
yeah.
She was worried someone was going to walk in, but they were just having a very spicy picnic. Like
happy hour.
Happy hour.
Happy hour got extra happy.
It did. As we were talking earlier, if we were going to rewrite a book a scene in a book, we would rewrite it to be red wine.
Yeah, that's about it.
That's about it. That was hilarious.
Tips. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, we've got a couple good ones that I think we should keep introducing, but maybe next week you can narrate because I will. I said some things on record I didn't ever think I'd say.
You said a very distinct part of the female anatomy. You did.
I did. We'll see how we cut that. I want this to be edited to perfection if I'm making my audio, my narrator breakout here. Got it. I'm available to read.
Yeah. You're like, I could be a romance book audio narrator.
Could.
It was very spicy. It was sipping on spicy. Because there was wine and it was spicy. Okay, off topic a little bit. Do you have a toxic book trait? I do.
Okay. Okay, start with yours.
Okay, so this is bad, but sometimes, specifically in romantasy and fantasy romance, if things are getting a little tense, I'll read the ending of a book just to make sure that no one that I love dies, and then I'll go back to where I'm at in the book. I just want to make sure everyone's okay. I do it all the time.
So I'm not going to judge you because there has absolutely been times where I've been in the middle of something and I'm like, I just need, like, I know there's a happily ever after. You know what I mean? Like, I know in my soul there's a happily ever after. I'll still go to the end, especially if I think somebody's going to, I'll go to the end and just like read the last page. Oh my God, what book did I tell you I did this for? Oh my God, do you want to know what book I did this for?
Yes.
I did it for Onyx Storm.
So you went to the end? You did?
I read the last page.
Oh my goodness, Jordan. Okay. I mean, I can't judge you. I just said it's my toxic trait. I'm not judging you, but I actually didn't do it for Onyx Storm. But yeah.
I did it early on because I was worried. And so I had to read the last page. And I was like, okay, that's the hope I needed. I honestly took it as hopeful. So I did it for Onyx Storm.
Oh, okay. I can't judge you because that's my toxic book trait. I'm gonna make you gasp. Oh, I did it for multiple books in Throne of Glass. Multiple books.
Really?
I read the ending. I had to know. I went and read the ending. Before. Yeah. Good for you.
I suffered through that torture. I didn't do it for Zodiac Academy either, which is surprising. I suffered. Oh, wait. Actually, no, that's not true. I did it in book 7 of Zodiac Academy.
I mean, I get it. Oh, interesting. Yeah. How can I judge you? I do it too. Sometimes we just have to know. There's too much stress. You just need to know.
Yeah. Honestly, that's literally what it is. Like, if I'm stressed, I just need to, like, how do I explain it? It's like anxiety when you create like plan A, plan B. As long as I know the outcome, like I can be ready. I would like to say that for Zodiac Academy, I was not ready.
No, yeah.
Onyx Storm, I was ready. I was okay. I was ready.
Okay.
But yeah, I do agree, surprisingly, that sometimes I need answers.
Same.
Okay, so something I wanted to talk to you about. It's been a theme in a couple books I've read recently, and I wanted to see how you feel about it. And it's main characters who give up without trying. And what I mean by that is like they're in a situation, a negative situation, and their perspective is, like, what's the point of trying? What's the point of changing it? And it takes them a significant chunk of the book to finally try to do something about it.
Interesting. And do you like reading that or do you not like reading that?
I hate it. I'm so annoyed. I'm finding myself getting so annoyed with this where like I'm always just like, can you just please talk about it, deal with it, whatever. And I don't know if it's just like what it is, but I'm finding it such a pet peeve that like if I see that give up attitude, I can disconnect from the main character very easily.
Okay, I totally can see what you're saying. Sometimes I think I can be empathetic. Sometimes it depends on how it plays out. If they are in a place of like deep depression, it's hard. But for the majority of the time, I agree with you. We want to see our protagonists fight for change or fight to get through it because then it's, we read for escapism and enjoyment. We read to like cheer on these characters. So you want to see them not just accept things, but actually like fight their way out of things. I totally agree with you. If you agree with that statement.
Yeah, I do. I've just been seeing it a lot lately and I'm like, please stop doing this to me because like it's fine if things keep going wrong and you build that tension in a different way. But if you're just going to like give up, what's the point? Like, no.
Yeah.
Okay. Something else I've been seeing a lot lately is how hypocritical it is. And I think you're going to actually agree with me on this.
Oh, okay. I'm excited.
And sometimes it's okay to look yourself in the mirror and say you're a hypocrite,
Sometimes.
And this is one of those times, which is I am a major proponent of not really liking age gap romances. There has to be like the youngest has to be over 25 for me to like an age gap. However, if it's a mythical creature like a fae or some form of fantasy where they're 500 and they're young, that rule goes out the window.
Is that the hypocrisy? Is that the hypocritical part?
Yeah. Okay. And a lot of people will defend that and say, how can you sit here and say it's fine for a 19-year-old to date a 500-year-old? Listen, is it hypocritical? Absolutely. You are right. You have made a correct character assessment of me. It doesn't change how I feel.
No, same. That is okay because I think it's like fantasy world element. I think also you're just put in a different world where you have a lot of a suspension of disbelief. Like when we're reading, when we think of Farah and her love interest, she's 19 at the beginning of the book, and the love interests are much older. So but I think that's okay because you're already in a world of like extreme disbelief where it doesn't feel like you're reading like that. There's an imbalance of power.
Yeah.
Even if there is, and it is hypocritical, even if there is. And obviously in fantasy romance, typically our female main characters are on some journey to gain power, where then maybe it feels like there's less of an imbalance of power. I agree with you. I also have some hypocritical points too to make that are even more hypocritical.
Yes.
More hypocritical.
Let's be super biased together. I love this.
I also don't love age gap romances either, outside of fantasy romance. And then I specifically strongly dislike it if the male main character is older than the female main character. I really don't like that age gap. That's almost a DNF for me. Like if the man is older than the female main character, that's almost a DNF for me almost always. I just don't want to read it. I don't, but
you mean like age gap wise or just like in general? Like if they're 2 years older?
Oh, a large age gap. So like if our male main character is like 10 to 15 years older than our female main character. I'm not about that.
Okay.
I don't
want
you. Yeah. That's not my favorite trope.
I totally agree.
I respect those that do like it though. Like everyone likes to read what they like to read. Just personal. But I'm a hypocrite because I have read books where this is the case where it's flopped and the female main character is 10 to 15 years older than the male main character. And it doesn't bother me as much.
What? What? Yeah. I can't think of a book where that's true.
Okay, so their ages are it's a one of my absolute favorite authors, Penny Reed. It's not the Bearded Brother, it's not the Winston Brothers series. And the age gap is not crazy. She is like 45, 46 and he's 26, late 20s.
Oh.
So we're not talking teens, of course, or anything like that, but that is a 20-year age gap.
And no, that would be
it doesn't bother me as much.
Wow. That would be a firm no for me.
I mean, I don't seek age gap romances out to read.
I don't either.
In general, it's not my favorite trope at all. But I'm more okay with that power balance than the power being the other way.
It's just funny
critical as that is.
Yeah, I mean, I think like I said, I think everybody's tastes are different. So I think that's the point. And I just think it's funny because like you'll see these people talk online about like, how can you say this and not this? I'm allowed to be hypocritical as when am I reading? Okay. That's what I'm allowed to do. I'm allowed to say that's not okay, but this is in this scenario. And I'm fine with that. I can look myself in the mirror and say it's okay.
Yes. We all, no judgment because we all like to read what we want to read. Now I'm going to get a little spicier. What did you say earlier? You didn't want to see the gap with anyone under 25?
Yeah.
Was that a statement? Will you explain the age gap in the book behind you?
Okay, first of all, they are 4 years apart. And it's a fantasy romance. And it's a fantasy romance. Yes, he's only 4 years older.
He's 26.
He's only 4 years older.
She's 20. No, he's 26.
He's 24. He's 24. Wait, no.
Okay.
He's either 6 years older. He's somewhere between 4 and 6 years. So it's under double digit. It doesn't count.
Okay.
And just, you know what? To defend myself, I have to give a spoiler. So
okay, we're not going to
have a sit.
Anything.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
I just wanted to call that out to your own
you
logic.
You should say what book it is.
It is Zodiac Academy, the Zodiac Academy series. There is an age gap between an 18-year-old and a 24 or 26-year-old.
How old is it? Hang on, let me Google this.
Okay. Who's also her professor.
Okay, he's 26.
So 18 to 26.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an 8-year age gap.
No, is it?
18 to 26. That's yeah, I hope. I don't know. I'm terrible at math.
Hang on.
26 minus 18. It is fantasy romance, but it is kind of contemporary.
Here's the thing. It's fantasy. There is an element that would be a spoiler that I will not say that makes it acceptable. And I, again, stand by my hypocritical belief. Is it hypocritical? Absolutely. If you gave me this same book in a contemporary, I would be like, ew, no.
I completely agree and support you because everyone was a consenting adult and we all read what we want to read. We all have our biases. We're all a little bit of a hypocrite.
But yes, but if this was a contemporary romance, those two characters, same love story, I would not be okay with it.
Yeah, I could totally see that. And
so
it is
you're
fantasy.
right. You're right, and it's fine.
Oh my God, I am keeping that soundbite for the rest of my life. You just
Well, I mean, you're right to call me a hypocrite, and I am fine with it. Take that how you want. You slice and dice and resell it how you want, but that's the truth.
I will. I'm saving that forever.
You just play it back when you're sad. Okay. Okay. I am going to poorly describe a book to you, and I want you to guess what book that is.
Okay, yeah, I'm excited.
Okay. A fae with PTSD struggles with stairs.
What? Struggles with stairs? Nessa?
Yes!
So, Court of Silver Flames. Yes. Struggles with stairs. I was like, struggles with stairs. Where? Okay, that was a good one.
I was so proud when I wrote that. I was like cracking up. I was like, she's gonna love this. Okay. A childhood friend and her boss sleep together and get paint on their newly installed flooring.
What? A childhood friend and her new boss
sleep together and get paint on their newly installed flooring.
Why do I want to say A Court of Mist and Fury? But it's not.
I'll give you a hint. It's an Elsie Silver book.
You stumped me. Good job.
Wild Love by Elsie Silver.
Oh my God, it's been so long since I've read that book. Okay, now I gotta go read it.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I was like, I haven't reread that in a while. Okay. A girl summons a prince of hell to find her dead sister.
Kingdom of the Wicked.
Yes.
Kingdom of the Wicked. Oh, I love that series.
Okay.
One of the best books ever.
Yes, so good. Okay. You heard it here first. If you like what you heard, you can find us at TikTok and Instagram at Sippin on Spice.
Yes, and we also have a YouTube channel where we release all of our previously recorded episodes, as well as just other bookish type content on there. So please check us out on YouTube and like and subscribe. Yes. And we've also recently launched a book club where we'll be selecting a book of the month. There's a Facebook group that you can join to be a part of this virtual book club where you can comment, discuss, we vote on books. You can also submit questions for an author episode if we're going to interview an author that month. So check out the book club on Facebook.
Yep. And we're going to post a cocktail and a mocktail so that you can sip with us. And yeah, just have a whole community there where we'll either be asking you questions you want us to address, segments you want us to do, or if there's an author, questions we should ask the author. So we hope you join us and we hope to see you next week.
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers.